Roses are red. Above me is a ceiling. Angela. I need healing. Ooh, reclaimed water. Hey everybody, what's up? Name's Bricky. This is a Monday vlog today, not a Subnautica episode. However, I am playing Subnautica because we are talking about early access games, and I thought, what would be a better time than to talk about the game in which I just happened to log back in, and my beautiful sea of cocks was destroyed. In a pretty goddamn spectacle of a sinking ship, of all of my dreams and aspirations all sinking to the bottom of the goddamn ocean, and not really knowing why. I have a few theories as to why that was. One of them was just the fact that I had a lot of hull damage, and perhaps there was like a fire, and that fire consistently progressed until I eventually blew up and died. The other thought is that maybe oh wait, what was I up here for? Oh yeah, I want to change my colors. Now I don't know if things progress in this game like they do in games like DayZ, where if you log off, things happen around you. I don't really know. I decided maybe I should make this like a purple stripe or a pink stripe because it's like the second version of the Sea of Cocks. Because you know, might as well make it look really pretty. But I wasn't sure if that could be the issue, and then it like got fucked up when I was gone, or perhaps I just didn't notice something and it all just died. I don't know the exact reasoning. I don't know why. I don't really want to know why. I just kind of want to like leave it alone and be sad with my own thoughts and just move on to the C.O. Cocks the second. Ooh, I can name my sea moth? I can color. Ooh, the thick moth. The thick moth. Nice. Ooh, wait, you need to be pink. So this brought together a very interesting discussion based around early access games and kind of what you get with early access games. What do you get when you actually play early access games? And especially with early access games becoming a much larger medium and people, you know, getting a lot more into them, I thought this was like a perfect opportunity to discuss it more in detail. Now, early access games were a big thing starting just a few years back, and I think one of the ones that kind of paved the way for early access games was actually DayZ. Now, if you remember, DayZ used to be an Arma 2 mod, kind of a zombie survival mod, but more so it was based around the players. People gave less and less of a shit about the actual zombies in the game, and a hell of a lot more so about the actual players in the game, because the players themselves were pretty terrifying. See, it wasn't about the zombie horde that mattered. It was about that one guy with a gun waiting for you behind a wall. That was the terrifying part of it. Problem is, DayZ is also one of the best examples of early access games gone awry because it's been years upon years in development and still has absolutely no end in sight, no actual release date time. It still has optimization issues. It still like doesn't run very well as optimization, but it's got a lot of issues still. There's a lot of crap that goes on with it. There are problems. From a business perspective, it's extremely advantageous to be able to release a game before it's done, charge less for the game, or most likely less for the game, and go ahead and just kind of rake in those sales then to an unfinished game, basically. Just kind of slap early access on the title, and then you've got your game. However, for a while, I always considered early access games to be kind of a terrible thing. Like, early access games as a medium, as a style of releasing video games has always been awful, because you're releasing unfinished games. But I started to take like a little bit of time back. I started to think a little bit about, well, hold on a second. Early access games, yes, are pretty dang poor most of the time. I mean, not most of the time, but a lot of the time they are pretty dang poor unfinished games. But what about those like kind of companies that don't really have the option, who kind of have to do early access games? Now, I say have to do early access games very, very loosely, because having to do early access games really isn't necessarily the case all the time. Speaking of early access games, it's making the noise as if I'm underwater. But I'm not. Now I am. Nope. The one thing I never really thought of was actually indie developers, indie devs, people who maybe don't have the time to be able, or the money, to be able to make the entire game finished before they say run out of resources and run out of capital. You see, what if you have these really great ideas, these really awesome thoughts, these super cool ideas for a game, and you can only make so much? And you can only get so far before you just simply run out of money. Like, you have to pay people day by day or salary or month by month. Like you don't just get all of your money straight from when the game is sold. I mean, you do get your money that way, but at a time you have to think like, okay, when I'm making this game, can I afford to pay all my people all the way until the game is done with the setbacks, with delays and everything like that? And then you can think to yourself, well, what if I like go ahead and release the game early, like early access? Oops, I don't want to be here. And a kind of early access matter, so I can get that money earlier so I can keep paying for it. Like, what if a studio runs out of cash before the game can realistically be finished, and that's why they choose early access, to get that early income and be able to finish that game? That was the thing I was thinking of. Now, see, I don't know very many indie devs. I simply don't. I don't know very many indie games that I play. I play a hell of a lot of more AAA games because, you know, and also a lot of my channel is Overwatch, League of Legends, just For Honors, Ubisoft, you know, there's a lot of things like that are actually kind of more my style. But there are some very interesting indie games that are a lot of fun. I just don't know that many devs, so I don't know. Maybe some of you are a dev, probably not. I don't know. If any of you are game devs, a little bit of, you know, shedding some light would be extremely appreciated. I just started thinking of it from that perspective. Like, maybe they have to. Maybe this is like their only option. They just simply don't have the funds to have to wait all the way until the game is like released before they can actually be able to, well, sell it. So boom, you sell the game early, get the profits there, and use them to consistently make or finish the product. And I can understand that from an indie dev perspective, but what bugs me is the kind of developers that have all that extra money but use it as more of a cash grab without any form or reason to go ahead and want to finish things, any interest in actually finishing the game. Now, this may seem weird since I bitch about it a lot, but I personally think Subnautica is the best like single player kind of survival game I've ever played. I think it's excellent. I think it's a fantastic game. The only real issues I have with this game are some of the animations are pretty wonky and stuff, and you got a few bugs and glitches where like your like, you know, it looks like your knife is being held like this, kind of weird looking. That shit though is chump change. Now it does have some optimization issues, but I kind of give it a little bit of a pass. I give it a little bit of a pass only because it seems like it's a giant game with a lot it has to load in. So I can kind of understand it from that perspective of like, oh shit, well yeah, it's got to load in all of these crazy things, all of these animals, all of these salvage and this foliage and all this crap going together. And like, okay, I can kind of give you that one, you know? But overall, I think this game is incredible. I think it's a fantastic. I really do. It's got so much going for it for an early access game. That's impressive. That really is. But there are so many more of them kind of in the shitter as well that it kind of sours the whole early access, well, I can't even say sours the early access market, because the market of early access in a sense really shouldn't exist, because selling under or non-finished games isn't really a good thing except for the simple situation I mentioned earlier. There is, however, another very good example of early access games done quite right recently, which is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. At least I think it does a pretty damn good job. You see, most of you already know what PlayerUnknown is. It's basically, I don't even need to be that guy who's like, oh, H1Z1 did it first, because it didn't, but that's basically what it is. It's basically H1Z1 Battle Royale, but unlike H1Z1 that also has like Just Survive part that no one plays anymore, except for like those 4 people that are probably going to comment on this video and be like, I still play it, Bricky, and okay, there goes my coral. I guess it falls into the earth. It's a Battle Royale game, similar to H1Z1, also in early access, which also has its issues. It's got some optimization problems, it's got a couple hit detection issues, not as bad as H1Z1 in my opinion. It seems to have a little bit more issues there, but it still has its fair share. Also got a sound issue, and I hear things from the wrong directions that it really shouldn't be at, and that kind of bugs me sometimes. But overall, what PUBG is doing really well is actually its development time. Yeah, it is an early access game, but they've been coming out with, I think, maybe not weekly, but major monthly changes. A new gun every single month, combined with all these changes and stuff they have listed, and saying like, okay, hey, we got this going on. And the great thing is their Twitter account. Their Twitter account shows everything like, hey, you are experiencing issues with the ACOG scope and it kind of firing in spots where it shouldn't. Here's what it looked like before. Here's the change we're rolling out for it. And like also, hey, here's this new bike and this new gun called the VSS. It's just, they seem extremely transparent in the development cycle, and I love that, because the more technical the development cycle looks, it makes me not only more interested in it, but also more impressed when I can see, oh, so that's what that was. Like, that was that issue you were having. I get it. I can see it now. I understand, and now I can see the fix, and it makes me very happy that I have a good amount of transparency like that. They also had that charity event, which was really awesome, but that game, with its issues, has a very strong development cycle pushing behind it, which I think is very, very good. Yes, it does have its issues, and whether or not you consider those issues acceptable is actually completely up to you. Do you think the optimization problems are acceptable? I mean, I don't think they are, but like, versus the price of the game. Like, I mean, you're not paying full price for this game, and you're not getting a full game for it, so you have to kind of weigh those pros and cons. And honestly, at the end of the day, what I wanted to talk about in this video was not necessarily any kind of, you know, how like early access games are bad or early access games are good. No one should ever say that they're good personally, but kind of bring forth a little bit of a discussion based around the game, based around early access games and the early access game model. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to talk about and I was interested about. And unfortunately, I don't have any PUBG gameplay right here. I just want to talk about a lot about PUBG because that was what I wanted to do. And I don't know, Subnautica is a really nice, just like chillaxing style game. But you know, so I think Subnautica, iron out a few of your glitches, maybe like a couple optimization ups, and you've got a full game. Honestly, you've got a full game. If you release this at full price, or not full price, like depends on the type of full price you're referring to. But like, I don't know, how much was Subnautica? Was it $20, $30, whatever it was? If you were to release this as a full game, I would be okay with it. Absolutely, it is getting a decent. Well, in the experimental mode right now with all this extra polish, it feels good. It really does. I think you've done a pretty solid job with this game so far. And there are a lot of other games that have something similar, and it's kind of, you know, it's nice to see it. You know, it's nice to see it. Anyway, I'm making a pressure compensator right here for my sea moth, of course, which is quite exciting. Also, I already have a hull reinforcement, and I'm throwing in a storage module because I might as well have a little extra space. I'm going around checking stuff out. So, hey, thick moth, let's go ahead and get you in here. Pressure compensator. Storage module, and was that it? That is it. Wait a minute. Pressure compensator 1. Do I have like other ones? Oh yeah, Mark 2 and Mark 3. Ooh, I need 2 more ingots, aluminum oxide crystal. And I have those. I can actually make all of those. Ooh, fun. I need this prawn suit thing though later. All right, everyone. Well, I wanted to bring that like discussion here today, talk about early access games a little bit. I don't know. For a while, there was like that giant issue with early access games, and everyone really, really hated it. And then we kind of stopped talking about it. And I wanted to bring out the discussion again. Like, I wonder if people are just being better consumers and just knowing what they want now and doing a better job at explaining what they want. And therefore, it's like not as much of a problem. Which is totally could be the case, but like I said, it all depends. It really all depends. So anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, oh, that looks so cool. It's like attached this. That's so awesome. Sorry. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you up with that Loot Crate sponsorship, of course. Throw it on every Monday. Here are to this month's themes. And if, you know, for gaming, regular, anime, the usual. If you like any of it or you want to check any of the other stuff out, you can go ahead and use lootcrate.com/Bricky and promo code Bricky for 10% off your purchase. You can find it all in the description, the links and such. Any of the other ones you want to use, because the link and the promo code works for all of them, including everything from like the Halo Legendary one, or like the pets or the wear, anything tickles your fancy. Go ahead and give it a look-see, because it does support me as much as it supports the company itself, which is always good. And before I go, Twitch clip of the week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And no, it's a bit of ways, but don't worry, you'll get an explanation for that. But thank you very much for the sub. And welcome to the 8-ballers in the brick house. What?